World Problems and India's Role. In this module, you will learn about world problems and India's role in solving these world issues. The United Nations Organization is an organization designed to make the enforcement of international law, security, economic development, social progress, and human rights easier for different countries. United Nations Organization was established on 24th October 1945. The world today has come under the clutches of various problems like denial of human rights, armaments race, economic inequality, racism, and terrorism. Let's look in detail at each of these problems. Human rights refer to a set of rights believed to belong to every person. Unfortunately, the discrimination based on religion, race, gender, caste, color, and nationality has denied human rights to a majority of people on the globe. Some events which upheld the struggle for human rights are the American War of Independence in 1776, Russian Revolution in 1977, the French Revolution in 1789, the struggle for independence in India, and many other countries during the first half of the 20th century. India has always supported the cause of universal human rights. The Indian Constitution has provided for the fundamental rights and thereby played a vital role in throwing light on various issues. The turning point in the struggle against denial of human rights was the United Nations Organization's Declaration of Human Rights on 10 December 1948. The United Nations General Assembly upheld the cause of basic rights of human beings all over the world. Issues like slave trade, human trafficking, child labor, and exploitation of women are prohibited by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The right to life, liberty and security, right to equality, freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, etc., are constitutionally sanctioned in almost all democratic nations. But under the totalitarian regimes, basic human rights are still denied. Armaments race refers to the continuing competitive attempt by two or more nations to have available to it powerful weapons. Armaments race is the most dangerous symptom of the present world. The global level of fear, insecurity, tension, and war are the results of armaments. Disarmament is the only solution for the very preservation and continuation of the globe. Disarmament refers to the reduction or elimination of certain or all armaments for the purpose of ending the armaments race. With the advent of the nuclear era, control of arms as well as disarmament has become all the more prominent. India, being a peace-loving country, is always for restraining the arms race. Since 1963, United States of America and the Soviet Union have entered into a number of bilateral agreements. The Strategic Arm Limitation Treaty or SALT, the Partial Test Ban Treaty, the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, CTBT, and the Non-Proliferation Treaty are some of the landmark treaties to check the nuclear arms race. All nations have to strive to create favorable situations against mutual assured destruction, or MAD. Economic inequality refers to the widening gap between the poor and rich sections of society. Economic inequality is a partial historical legacy of colonialism and exploitation. Countries in Africa, Asia, and Latin America where Europeans established their colonies remained economically backward. The progress of these countries was hampered till the first half of the 20th century. Post-independence, African and Asian countries did endeavor to achieve economic progress. Due to the lack of sufficient capital to develop agriculture, industry, transport and communication, science, education, health, etc., remained underdeveloped and depended upon the foreign aid. Economic unequal situations have been exploited to serve the national interests of the advanced countries. The third world nations strive to free themselves from the shortage of food, capital, technology, medical facilities, lack of higher educational amenities, etc. International trading policies like dumping, free trade, unhealthy competitions, globalization adversely affect the poor nations. Post-1945, the American bloc and Russian Communist bloc started assisting the backward nations. India launched the policy of non-alignment, which advocated for the economic assistance to the needy countries by the rich nations without any tag. India pioneered the countries opposing neo-imperialism of American and other countries, which could exploit the situations of the poor nations. To set right situations of economic inequality among nations, United Nations Organization and all the advanced nations have to respond positively. Racism is considered as a bane on world civilization. After Renaissance, the Europeans traveled across the world through newly discovered sea routes. They initially established colonies and later built vast empires on the eastern and the western parts. They looked down on the so-called races, mainly brown, black, and yellow, hailing from African, Asian, and American countries. Mahatma Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Nelson Mandela supported the cause of racial equality. By 1945, with the end of the World War II, drastic changes took place in the global socio-political scenario. Number of nations won freedom from alien rule, and consequently, racism died an unceremonious death. The Indian Constitution upholds the principle of equality based on race. Terrorism refers to the acts of violence used to attain a political objective. Terrorist activities result in the loss of innocent lives, disruption of civil life, destruction of public property, and financial loss. Terrorism makes people feel threatened and insecure. Terrorist acts are based on religious, political, or ideological goals. Terrorist organizations plan attacks methodically in advance. Road transport, railways, aeroplane, governmental offices, highly populated areas, marketplace are some of the vulnerable targets of terrorism. Various techniques used for the heinous acts are suicidal attacks, hijacking, gun battles, bombing, targeting innocent people as hostages, etc. India is considered as one of the soft bases for terrorists. Various terrorist attacks have taken place across India, like Taj Mahal Hotel in Mumbai, the train blasts in Mumbai, the bombings in the Parliament in New Delhi, in Bodh Gaya, Chennai, Bengaluru, and Hyderabad. Terrorism of all kinds in and around India are opposed by India's policy. The central and state government are continuously venturing to control terrorism. Anti-terrorist forces are set up and are specially trained to combat terrorism. Defense forces are brought into action to fight against terrorism. India has assisted neighboring countries like Sri Lanka to restrain terrorist activities. Let us now recap all the important points that we have covered in this module on world's problems and India's role.